our overall profit was $47,000, including the $10,000 in rent that we got, for an annual ROI of 68%.
Very good.
Right. We undervalued it because of the asset prior to foreclosure. The value of the property was not in good shape. So our value was 60 grand. But once we rehabbed it and did everything we could do with it, it was over $120,000. And for those who don't know, this is the one thing we love about Florida. While you're foreclosing, value usually go up. So it really benefits us while we're in foreclosure to hold the asset because it increases in value. So that's pretty cool. So yeah.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yep. Awesome.
Oh, do you have another one?
Are we skipping that one? Just go right to
all right. Bottom line, 49%.
Home runs.
Nice work. All right. Oh, this is a payoff. Irvin, I'll say when I start this is not actually my highest return, but I love the story of this, which is helps it become a home run. So this is a performing loan that I helped him to get paid off. So this is a cool one. I bought it for 23.5, unpaid balance at 47,000. And I was able to help him get refinanced. And what I mean by that is he had a lot of things going for him. He had good credit. We had a conversation early on when I bought the loan. He had good credit. And so immediately I'm going, okay, let's refinance. Because he was like at a 9% interest rate, something like that, 9.5. So it was a high interest rate. And then this was a couple of years ago. So interest rates were around 4%. So I was saying, okay, listen, we can get you refinanced. Why don't you go talk to your bank and see what they can offer you? So he came back and he said, yes, I can do that. Here's the issue is that the bank is going to require, they had done a home inspection and they required him to replace the furnace in his house. And to make it a little extra complicated, he had some health issues that meant that he couldn't just do like the cheapest furnace out there. He needed like a high efficiency something or other that was going to help clean the air for his health condition, which cost about $11,000. So it was not a nothing expense, and he didn't have an additional $11,000 sitting around. So when I got that story and knowing that the bank is ready to go as soon as this is done, I actually fronted the money. I was able to pay for his brand new furnace in his house. And then when he came back and was able to refinance, I got all of that money back.
Wow.
So it was an awesome story. I love being able to help. Overall profit on this, a little over 25,000, but an 87% expenses in. So it is a killer deal. And what made it even better is I was able to help somebody, and that feels really good. So that made that even better. That was a fun one. I like that one.
We hope that these stories kind of help you, kind of give you light of what the situation is. It can be a passive investment strategy here, but there's a lot of stories that go along with our assets, right? It's, when you go to conferences, you're going to tell stories left and right. So it's really kind of cool to hear about it. It makes it actual real life. It's not just a numbers game at times.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of stories like this. It's kind of fun
all the time.
One of the questions Greg has: did you put another lien on it for 11,000?
I didn't. It was a gentleman's agreement. We had a pretty good relationship, and I did add it to. So I didn't have anything like an additional lien, but I did say, we had an agreement, kind of in writing over email. And I knew that, and I got a copy of the receipt. I had the receipt myself. So I was able to add that to the payoff without any problem because I had proof of the additional expense. So it was, you could make it a little more formal, and maybe I should have, but I knew the situation. I knew the guy, and I felt comfortable going ahead and doing that. So I felt good about that. But this one, I said at the end of this one, it was a situation where, you're up to bat and then you take a step outside of the batter's box just to kind of evaluate everything for a second, and then step back in and, okay, here we go. And it ended up being a really good payoff.
Awesome. That's good to hear. So we're gonna step onto our home run for myself. I think this was a really cool, and this story was really interesting. Unfortunately, this was helping people is an awesome thing. This was a situation I thought I was gonna be a really big help, being an old landlord dealing with tenants. But this was a reverse situation. We literally were helping the tenant get a hold of the landlord. Crazy, right? So we bought this thing, go one up, I think it is. Go back up one. We're gonna do the other one. Should
Which
go up
one?
Should be the number 2 one.
And then number 2.
Yeah,
Here we go. This guy.
it's let me see. Yep, cool.
All right.
Sorry about that, guys. Hitting the PowerPoint slide, I think you're running it manually, so it's all good. So we look at the fact that this situation is, we bought this knowing the fact that this was a non-performer, and I thought I was gonna foreclose. And the tenant was having a hard time. I did a door knock, which I don't do as often anymore as I used to. But we get a hold of the tenant and we said, listen, we would like to talk to the landlord about what's going on, blah, blah, blah. We weren't going to tell much. We just wanted, and the tenant said, I'd love for you to let me know if you can get a hold of the landlord. I've been paying my rent payment, but I can't reach her. We said, oh, so my door knock says, here's new address. This is great. Can you go knock at their door? Not a problem. So went over the door knocking. The borrower was living in her own house. She had worked nights. The door knocker thought she had something happen to her. So the door knocker called the police. Had the police show up, try to get her to open the door, and she just was tired from working overnight. Not a really good situation to be in, but it is what it is. But we then got the borrower to reinstate, put $5,000 down, working it, awesome. We did notice when we were working it that the HOA had started a foreclosure just like 3 years ago, but I ignored it. I thought, what situation with an HOA? There's subordinate into our lien, especially in Ohio. There's no super lien ruling. What are we gonna do? So we went ahead and HOA then all of a sudden within, I think it was 2 months after us doing this, getting reinstated money, like December, February, completed the foreclosure, has judgment, and set an auction date. We found out, not worrying about it at all, that our first lien was never agreed in the judgment settlement to be part of it at all. We're not named at all. They had been sent letters, never responded to the foreclosure action by the HOA. So we are actually out of it completely. We lost our entire position on this note.
Wow.
We then asked the HOA if we can jump in second position. So we had a little bit of a deal we had to pay off. It was like $6,000 or so we had to pay the HOA. We also didn't factor into some of the things like the annual tax amount. I had to pay for that. I didn't know it at the time. It was an older deal. And I didn't know at the time I had to pay, my taxes while I'm foreclosing. Didn't even think about adding that in my expense situation. So we got the borrower to re-perform. She got foreclosed on, right? Then we ended up having to, we had a tenant who was in the property. So we bought it for $12,000. We had $14,000 expenses, including, I think it was like $8,000 for foreclosure, taxes, and then you got a little rehab we had to do. We then went ahead and we had our tenant in there for $800 a month. So we can't kick the tenant out. They're active, they're current. So we allowed them to stay in the house. We had thought the house value was probably around, 50, 60,000. It was not a condo, but townhouse area. It was a situation. The HOA was friendly with us. We're good with things. The UPB was $48,000. We ended up selling this thing for $68,000, and we are into the deal for 26.
Nice.
Including renting it for 8 months. Our profit on this thing was $42,000 over 18 months, 161% return. We basically learned from this situation that we had a confused landlord because she didn't know how to deal with tenants, and we're going to help her out. We had a great local value. We knew the fact this was basically a condoplex area, and the value was pretty solid. This is our highest, and I added this at the end, our highest ROI, I looked at it through it, was $697. Not this deal, but I kind of plotted it at the end of this slide. Our highest ever, I looked at it, was about 697% return.
Nice.
All right.
Nice.
Boring story, but well, not boring story, but it was. The tenant was happy that we actually were responding to things. The landlord was happy to get out of it. She had taken a course on being a landlord and hated it.
Yeah.
Single female, but it was really interesting. And then we sold it. It was so easy to sell this thing. We had multiple offers. I think we listed for like 60, got 68 in a matter of 18 months and made a killer return.
Well, that's really cool.
Yeah. ROI is not boring. You're right, Greg. ROI is not, we don't calculate our deals based on ROI. We calculate based on like IRR and things like that. But yeah, which we talked about in our advanced class. But yeah, again, we can show these home runs. I had another one like Nathan was showing. That was another good returner, but these can happen all the time, right? But they can also strike out all the time too. So if you bought one and struck out, your next one may be a home run. You don't know.
Yeah. So just settle in, because it's the whole game. You're gonna win some, you're gonna lose some, and sometimes it's gonna be a huge grand slam, and other times it's a total strikeout, and everyone should.
But the only way to learn is by doing and networking with others, getting out there and talking to other people. Yeah,
absolutely. So around on the bases, like you say, Dave, one's going to be a strikeout, one's going to be a single. Just keep going, because those home runs are definitely out there. And the more experience you get, the more those seem to come around. But just keep going, keep playing the game, and watch your coaches, man.
Yes.
You can't just walk into this business. And we talked about this a little bit before. You can't just walk into this. There's too many rules. There's too many things. We talk all the time. Dave and I's businesses are completely separate, but we bounce ideas off each other all the time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just to see, what do you think about this? Have you ever run into that? And all the time.
Talk, communicate.
Yeah.
Networking is a big thing in this business.
Yeah. And there's
nobody bats 1,000. I like Nathan's comment on this one. Nobody bats 1,000. And watch for signs. If you think something looks weird, acts weird, ask questions, ask your attorney or whatnot.
Yeah. There's plenty of people out there that can help coach you along. So even if they're not necessarily paid, but there's a lot of people that can help you figure stuff out.
Absolutely.
I think this is the last side. I just said, just don't spit.
Yes.
It's gross. Just don't disrespect the game. And part of it is learning the rules. You can't just go off willy-nilly, half-cocked. Like you've got to learn the rules of this game, because it's not good. And if you you disrespect too much, you're going to get thrown out of the game. Yeah. So make sure you
respect the borrowers, respect the sellers, respect the vendors, so the expectations are realistic, right?
Yeah.
You can say, listen, I expect this to be done in 2 weeks, but you have to be optimistic and say, listen, this may take longer. I don't know.
Yeah. Ask
for questions, set expectations for yourself, but also for other vendors. Hey, if I don't hear from you in 2 weeks, I'll be giving you a call. Is that okay? And they say, well, it may take 3 weeks. So can we do 3 weeks? Just respect each other.
Yeah.
Right. You want to respect borrowers, right? If you try doing something that will hurt the borrower, you're going to get beat up later.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You're going to get hurt. So just don't do it. Just be a good person.
Yeah,
that's it.
Absolutely. So I know you have two little things there, but it's good to see the fact that, we want to make fun of the fact that, this is a round the base baseball thing. And Alba Costello beginning video was kind of an introduction to the fact that we're going for all the bases, right? This is all about connecting with other people, and networking, and understand the space. Ask questions. Returns will happen and returns will fail. But we want to show you the gamut of everything we've learned, and we will strike out again, and I will hit home runs again. It just happens, right?
Absolutely.
We try to prevent them. We don't know what it's going to run to. So those people say, I'm buying this loan because it's going to perform, or it's not going to perform because I want the property. Doesn't mean you're going to get the property. They bring in state, you ain't getting the property.
Yeah. I mean, how many times have you seen that, Dave, where you're going down one road and like, oh, for sure, this is the way it's going to end up. And then it doesn't.
Absolutely.
It takes a detour and you go, oh, didn't see that coming.
Yeah. like it didn't what you expected, right? And things just happen. A borrower
happens.
dies.
All the time.
What can I do?
Yeah.
So, well, guys, I appreciate you guys jumping in there for a little while and spend some time with us and just kind of, being there with us. So if you have any questions, curiosities, whatnot, please reach out to us. If you have any question about that PowerPoint slide, or deals examples, you can post in one of our groups. We both have 2 different groups that are going on, but you can post anywhere. And we encourage you to join up with DME that's coming in June. And we have our advanced training, which will be coming up in a week. I'll be probably sending emails out probably the next couple of days. It's a 5-week intense course, but you will learn a lot, and we'll have one-on-one conversations about different things. So
Yeah.
guys, I appreciate you guys joining me. Of course, Mr. Nathan Turner. Hopefully it's nice weather. We are sunny skies and gorgeous outside. But hopefully everyone has a great weekend. Happy hunting, happy investing. But stay in touch.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, everybody.
Take care.